Hi there, Sagittarius. Thank you for joining me for your year 2014 forecast. This year begins with a potent collection of energies, your solar return on the first day, which sees the Sun combine with Pluto in your sector of resources. Now, if you're a particularly idealistic Sagittarian and tends to think, well, money will come in, it will go, this can make you much more minded to think more seriously about the foundations in your world, about what you have and holding on to what you have, being a little bit less frivolous, a bit more earthy, so it can be a real help to you all through the year in this regard. But equally, you have Mars, the planet of drive, in an amazing part of your horoscope, one which can really do wonders for the way you connect with people socially, not just in the first month of this new year, but right through to the end of July. Because Mars is going to be having an extended stay in the sign of Libra, and that's a sign that goes well with your sign. This is going to help you to be much more focused on your future in a clear way, but it's also encouraging you to understand that at times, because Mars is about ego, that it's better to work collectively than to just work individually for your own ends. But it is in a collision with Uranus on the first day of this new year, and both of them are squaring up to that Sun-Pluto conjunction. We have a T-square. So the suggestion is the idealistic side of your nature can clash with the earthy, realistic side of your nature, and this can be this can be played out for the whole of this year, quite frankly. But that doesn't mean to say that you can't get on top of this influence and master it, because you can. What is true, however, is that Uranus and Pluto, which have been in a square, a testing square, for a lot of the last 2 years, are going to continue to be so for 9 of the months of this new year. We can't get around it. This is a tough old influence. Basically, Pluto is about power, and in Capricorn, which is a very traditional sign, it's about being slow to be open to new forces. It's a conservative influence. And it's good for you in a way, because it's asking you to be a bit more grown up about your resources. And if you have spent money in the past on things that you don't use all the time, you can become much more minded that everything in your life that's of value has to have a practical purpose. And that can be really good for you. But then there's another side of your nature that hates rules and regulations and likes to do things when it suits you. You are the ultimate freedom lover of the zodiac. And Uranus in your 5th house just keeps pressing the button, taking you back to that side of your nature. So you can find yourself going 1 minute feeling very sensible, the next minute wanting to just break out, be naughty, have fun, spend cash. And the two of them are going to be aggravating each other for, as I said, much of the year. But as I also said before, it is something you can work at. So discipline is going to be important, and also developing some opportunities or ways to enjoy yourself, which don't necessarily cost a lot of money, but do allow you to express your flair and creativity. So think about how you can achieve this. But this influence at the start of the year is certainly going to make you very serious-minded about what you want to achieve. And before the end of January, we have another big hitter come in, because your ruler Jupiter is in opposition with Pluto and squaring up, both of them square up with Uranus themselves. Now, when Jupiter is in opposition to Pluto, I have to be honest with you, especially around money, there can be a temptation for people to act against what's right from a moral viewpoint, because greed, ownership, jealousy, all these ugly kind of emotions can really get rooted. And it's something you need to be careful of, because from the end of January through to May, these planets are working away, and that randomness that Uranus keeps throwing in the mix could see you doing something that's against the spirit of yourself, let alone against the spirit of what normally would be acceptable. So just be conscious of that. But equally, Jupiter opposite Pluto can also lead to financial breakthroughs when the two planets are occupying the axis of the 2nd and 8th houses, as they are for you. So as long as you don't try to force the pace, don't try to bend the rules, cut corners, or tread on other people's toes or feelings, and you work very, very hard, you will get there. Jupiter can serve up a large dollop of good fortune for you this year, believe me and you could be delighted when it arrives in your lap. Now then, Mars is going to be with you, as I said, right through to the end of July. And one other area that can be fantastic for is giving you the appetite to get a bit fitter. Because the Sun and Pluto could at times see you wanting to fall back on comfort food, comfort eating, those calorific goodies that we all love from time to time, but we know all make us sluggish, bloated, slowed down. And if you can get a bit leaner, then Mars is saying to you, this is a fantastic opportunity to play a team sport, to work out or occupy a collective space in your social life, which sees you doing lots of different activities. And that can be a breath of fresh air for you for the first 7 months of this year. Now, the eclipses which occur in April feature two, the lunar and the solar. The lunar is good for you, but it does suggest that there is some time management needed. The solar is very much more about how you marshal your energies. If you really want to stay fit, stay strong, and stay robust, being very disciplined again is going to be important, particularly because Saturn, the planet of restriction, does continue this year in the most psychological part of your horoscope. And if you're not quite in tune with your personal motivations, you could keep getting caught out. Maybe people don't see you the way you see yourself, and that can create a lot of negativity too. So particularly around your professional situation, watch out for politics. You must be conscientious, do your bit for others, don't be only focused on your own needs. Now, once we get round to the half point of the year, Jupiter is going to be moving, but it's going to be moving into a super area for you, because it moves into your 9th solar house, an area really which arouses the energies which are at the heart of your own zodiac sign. The buccaneering, the pioneer, the freedom-loving, the adventurer, the person who loves to keep soaking up new knowledge. And it's all going to be pouring in with Jupiter's help in the second half of this year in an immensely positive way. Now, there is a change, however. At the end of July, Mars does move into a tricky area for you. And then towards the end of the month, it's going to be passing over Saturn. This could lead to some quite uncomfortable moments the last 2 weeks of August. I'm just being absolutely honest. I'm not being negative. And this could see you having to check out part of your attitude or something linked to your past, which you've been pushing under the carpet for far too long. And it may relate to a long ago event. It may relate to something more recent, but you're not recognizing in your attitudes, but other people see that's about you, that's maybe not so healthy from an emotional viewpoint. But as you hustle and bustle your way through to the last quarter of this year, then in October we've got 2 more eclipses. The lunar eclipse is a very friendly one, and again you'll probably sport for choice. This could be a situation where if you're spending a lot of time with your friends, or have done this year, a partner could moan about it and want some changes. But the solar eclipse at the end of October is once more profoundly psychological, and it's asking you not to just shoo emotions away. There can be a tendency for Sagittarians to think, look, that's all dull, boring, it's heavy, I don't need all that, I just want to move on to the next exciting new subject, which I can embrace. But you know, by doing this multiple times after time, sometimes you never deal with emotions that need to be gone through. So sometimes grieving, for example, is very important. Sometimes being sad is important. Sometimes giving ourselves the space to be joyful is important. But if you're always in such a rush to experience the next new buzz, sometimes you're denying yourself the permission to do this. So just be conscious of that in the last quarter of the year, because if you are, you can grow enormously as a person and become much calmer, much more at peace with yourself, and much more tuned into other people. Thank you for joining me. Good luck and goodbye for now.